a tall fence but a wide gate, meaning let's debureaucratize how you get entrance. Are you coming here to add value? Make it easier to do seasonal visas or actual work permits. To Venezuela to start, but now to Mexico. There are Chinese nationals in Mexico teaching the cartels how to fabricate fentanyl. A normal illicit business is not going to develop a product that kills its customers. It's bad for business. So it speaks to why, fentanyl is done to rot American society from the inside.
It's a reverse opium war to me.
It is.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even the U.S. that did it, but it's an FU to the West writ large.
You ever hear the book Fentanyl Inc.?
No.
So this guy, Ben Westhoff, wrote this, this had to be maybe 6-7 years ago. And he went on Joe Rogan also 6-7 years ago after he wrote it and told the story. He was like a music reporter. He was working on a story in music. And while he's working on it for this magazine, some guy makes a comment about fentanyl, like an offhanded comment. He asks him about it more and he gets curious, starts pulling on the thread. Quickly, he's like, holy shit, there's something here. Decides to write a book. And pretty badass, he decides to fly to China alone, just an author, not a special forces guy or anything, and go undercover and see how easy it would be to get fentanyl. And it was basically, to put the story shorter, it was basically like going to Walmart and walking out with a cart in China itself.
Yep.
Now fast forward to those guys bringing their people over, shipping that to Mexico where the cartels run the country, who want to get that into America and can get it through the border no problem. It seems way too easy.
The Trump administration has its work to do.
Yes. How would you stop that? If I were Donald Trump and I said, Erik, you're in charge, go for it.
Some things are better left unsaid.
Oh. Well, what do you think of him declaring the cartels terrorist organizations from a strategic standpoint?
Well, it certainly unlocks a lot of additional authorities because there's some pretty capable ways of delivering energy onto the enemies when you do that.
Would you care to elaborate?
Whether that's drones, whether that's JSOC capability, the find, fix, finish muscle that was honed over 20 years of GWAT is a very capable apparatus.
Does it create any... obviously the Mexican government is corrupt, for one. And second...
The big danger is, to me, with there's so much money made, is that Mexico can teeter towards state capture by the narcos. And that's a problem. So you either should legalize drugs and take all the criminal profit out of it, or you have to find a way to mow the weeds and to degrade the strength of these cartels as on an ongoing basis so that they don't threaten the Mexican state. That's what had to be done in Colombia. And even so, the cartels are constantly trying to flex back up.
Yeah.
The FARC was taken down a few notches by finding their camps in the jungle and bombing the shit out of them.
Mm. Do you think when we did the thing in Colombia, though, I don't remember what the specifics were there. Did we do that same thing where we made a designation that they were terrorist organizations officially under the state?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No. But in that case, I think I was not involved with any of that. But there was some good signals intelligence that was provided. But it was mostly enabling the Colombians to do it themselves. Look, for a Mexican, I feel terrible for the typical Mexican cop who comes on the job and within days he's visited by some cartel member that says, "Plata y plomo," right? Yeah. Take my silver, I'm going to pay you off, or take the lead. And it's not just me, and not just you that we're going to kill. We're going to kill your family, and they're all going to suffer. So for everybody in America that thinks taking drugs is harmless to themselves, they are sentencing a lot of normal Mexicans that just want to live their life and raise their kids to a life of that kind of threat. So We either have to take that threat away mechanically, or you have to just bite the bullet and decriminalize everything. Because remember, Coca-Cola started out being laced with cocaine.
Yeah. That, I would love to live in a world where that could be possible. I feel like that's not ripping off a Band-Aid. Like, I go back and forth on this a lot, but like if you legalized everything, there would still be ways that the black market, I feel like, would take control of it.
Could be.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and that's why I think the cartels have shifted towards fentanyl and stronger stuff, because so much of pot has been largely decriminalized in America that it's taken away a profit center for them.
Right.
And why they make as much money in smuggling people as they did in smuggling drugs.
Yeah, that's the humanitarian part that I feel like when people are talking about, the whole border issue, it gets ignored. I mean, the human trafficking that happens there, and that we don't know where these people go, or the horrible fate that they're most likely.
And the
Yep.
abuse. Yeah.
It's
I
wild.
think our immigration policy should be a tall fence but a wide gate, meaning let's debureaucratize how you get entrance. Are you coming here to add value? Make it easier to do seasonal visas or actual work permits. That's something about the UAE. They take immigration extremely seriously. They count if you're there, if you overstay, you're paying fines immediately. If you're disappeared and overstaying, they're fining you and they're deporting you.
Yeah.
They take it seriously. We don't take it seriously at all. Trump administration has started to. Borders are supposed to delineate a government paradigm.
Supposed to delineate a government,
Meaning,
in English.
if the United States, we are a constitution. We believe in elements of limited government and taxes and all the rest. And Mexico doesn't have the same paradigm to do that. We have a border which delineates our way of thinking from their way of thinking.
I understand.
Not this borderless soup.
Yeah. And it's interesting because like a lot of other countries around the world do have strong borders and enforce them. And like then
Some do, some don't. And the ones that don't are largely being destroyed.
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.